In exactly 72 hours, I completely destroyed my family's dream wedding and revealed that while my brother had been systematically robbing me of $35,000 over 4 years, I had silently accumulated a personal fortune of $450,000 that nobody had any idea existed. Have you ever had the person you trusted most in life literally stab you in the back in the most cowardly way possible? Have you ever discovered that you were completely financing the betrayal of someone you loved unconditionally? Have you ever felt that devastating sensation that everyone was laughing behind your back while you were too generous, too naive, too trusting? Because I went through every second of that humiliation, and the meticulously calculated revenge I orchestrated was so absolutely devastating that it changed our family forever. For years, while my brother Tyler displayed the lifestyle of a prosperous and successful entrepreneur, driving a $75,000 BMW M4 convertible and constantly posting extravagant trips to Las Vegas, Miami Beach, and Aspen, I lived completely discreetly in a rented 2-bedroom apartment in Cedar Park, Austin, driving a used 2019 Honda Civic I bought secondhand. What absolutely nobody in my family knew is that I was secretly the owner of 8 rental residential properties scattered throughout Austin's suburbs and had a diversified investment portfolio of stocks, bonds, and ETFs that consistently generated over $9,200 per month in passive income. To my entire extended family, I was simply the nerdy and antisocial brother who worked with computers all day and never left the house. It was on a specific Thursday, March 15, 2024, at exactly 10:47 p.m. I had gone out for a business dinner with potential clients that ran longer than planned, and came home only to get my MacBook Pro that I had forgotten on the kitchen table. When I put my key in the lock and opened the door to my own apartment, I found my fiancée Emma, the woman I planned to spend the rest of my life with, and my older brother Tyler in my own bed, in my own room. The exact words that came out of his mouth were, "Dylan will never find out anything, he's too naive and completely too in love to suspect." In that precise moment, something fundamental broke irreversibly inside me. But what happened in the following months was so coldly calculated, so meticulously planned, and so absolutely devastating that to this day, exactly 18 months later, my entire family still feels the reverberations and consequences of what I did. I didn't just publicly expose both of their betrayals in a way no one will ever forget. I methodically revealed that for 4 consecutive years I had secretly and completely financed their luxurious lifestyle, paying literally every dollar they spent on showing off. And the public revenge I executed with military precision at their wedding was so cinematographically humiliating and devastating that it instantly went viral on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook throughout our entire city. If you've ever dreamed in your life of that perfect moment to finally show everyone exactly who you really are beneath the surface, hit like right now and stay with me until the absolute end of this story, because I'm going to show you how a perfectly planned and executed revenge can be the sweetest and most gratifying satisfaction in life. For you to completely understand the magnitude and perfection of the revenge I executed, first you need to understand exactly how I was systematically humiliated, manipulated, and used for years by my own family. At 28 years old, I had already managed to buy my first duplex in Round Rock with money I meticulously saved working as a freelance software developer, living extremely frugally and investing every extra penny I had left over. While Tyler spent all his time showing off being a successful entrepreneur and business owner, I was silently building a real financial empire in the shadows, property by property, investment by investment. My real net income was exactly $13,500 per month, but I consciously lived on only $2,100 monthly and religiously reinvested every remaining cent. To my entire family, parents, uncles, cousins, I was eternally seen as the socially inadequate, broke tech guy, who didn't know how to enjoy life and wasted his youth working too much. The first manipulation happened on a Tuesday in July 2020. Tyler called me at 11:30 p.m., completely desperate and panicked, saying his digital marketing startup was literally going bankrupt and he urgently needed $3,000 borrowed by the end of that month to pay suppliers and avoid lawsuits. He solemnly promised he would return every cent in exactly 30 days, with 5% interest. I, being the loyal and trusting brother I always was, immediately transferred $4,000 that same hour through Zelle, because I thought, it's my brother, he's in a real emergency. Tyler thanked me profusely, said I had saved his life, and that he would never forget my generosity. Exactly 2 weeks later, he posted stories on Instagram from South Padre Island, spending over $800 in a single night at a beach club, drinking Dom Perignon champagne and laughing with friends. The money was never returned, and when I questioned him, he said he was still going through a difficult time. From that first loan, the manipulations became systematic and increasingly elaborate. September 2020, Tyler appeared again with a dramatic story about how he would lose a $1 million deal if he couldn't get $5,000 to pay a specialized consultant. I transferred the money the same day. December 2020, another $3,500 to invest in the holidays and impress important clients, money that went directly to expensive gifts for Emma and extravagant parties. March 2021, $4,200 for a unique investment opportunity that would supposedly triple in value in 6 months. I never saw the money or results. June 2021, $6,800 to buy state-of-the-art equipment that would revolutionize the business, money that was used for a weekend in Vegas. September 2021, $5,500 to pay off urgent debts that were destroying his credit score. The following week he bought an $8,000 Rolex Submariner. And so the manipulation continued, month after month, fabricated emergency after emergency. In absolute total, over 4 years, I transferred exactly $35,400 to Tyler, every cent spent on pure showing off, $300 dinners at the Capitol Grill, designer clothes at Nordstrom, luxury trips to Miami, Cancun, and Las Vegas. It was in October 2021, during a tech conference in Dallas, that I met Emma Richardson. She was 29 years old, had a digital marketing degree from UT Austin, was incredibly intelligent, naturally funny, and seemed genuinely fascinated by my work and introverted personality. Over 8 intense months, we built what I sincerely believed was the most solid and genuine relationship of my life. Emma regularly attended our family home, participated in our Sunday barbecues, knew all my relatives, and Tyler constantly praised my incredible luck for finding such an amazing and perfect woman. Emma seemed to appreciate my simplicity, my honesty, my emotional stability, everything Tyler publicly belittled. But as the months passed, the public humiliations became more frequent and crueler. Tyler began making increasingly derogatory comments about my boring simple lifestyle directly in front of Emma, always disguised as brotherly jokes. "At least Emma isn't with you for the money, right, Dylan? Because it's definitely not for that," he would laugh, and everyone would laugh along. Our mother constantly made comparisons. "Tyler is the one with real success in life, Dylan is very comfortable being mediocre." During family barbecues, Tyler told elaborate stories about his big business deals and networking with millionaires, while I was introduced as the brother who works with computers and doesn't leave the house. And Emma not only laughed along with these humiliations but began making her own subtle comments about how I could be more ambitious and think bigger. What I didn't know at the time was that Emma was secretly passing information about my financial life to Tyler. She knew exactly when I received my rental payments, when my account was fuller, when I felt generous or guilty. Each family gathering transformed into a coordinated psychological humiliation session disguised as harmless joking, with Emma mentally taking notes about my emotional state so Tyler could plan the next financial manipulations. But this was just the beginning of the biggest betrayal of my life. March 15, 2024, Thursday, exactly 8:47 p.m. I had gone out for a business dinner at Uchi with potential clients that ran later than planned, and came home only to get my MacBook Pro that I had forgotten on the kitchen table because I needed to work on an urgent project. When I put my Yale key in the lock and gently opened the door to my own apartment, I instantly heard voices coming from my room. My heart began to race when I perfectly recognized Emma and Tyler's voices talking in intimate and conspiratorial tones. The exact words I heard when I silently approached the hallway were devastating. "Dylan will never find out any of this, he's too naive and completely too in love to suspect anything." Emma's response was even crueler, "He's so predictable and boring, never suspects absolutely anything. And the best part is he already paid for our entire trip to Cancun without even having a clue." In that moment, with trembling hands but a cold mind, I recorded everything on my iPhone before entering the room. The scene I witnessed destroyed any illusion I had. Emma was in Tyler's arms, wearing the $1,200 necklace that I had given her for our dating anniversary. When they saw me, Emma started crying immediately and Tyler tried to act like nothing had happened. "Dylan, this isn't what it looks like," Emma stammered. But I simply said, "Pack your things. Both of you. Get out of my apartment. Now." The next day, Emma appeared at my door trying to explain that it had been a moment of confusion, and that she made a terrible mistake. But I had already changed the locks. 3 weeks later, on a Friday evening, Tyler called me saying he and Emma were genuinely in love and wanted to do the right thing. 2 days later, he officially proposed to her at an expensive restaurant in downtown Austin, posting romantic photos on Instagram. Our family was thrilled with the news, especially our mother, who always thought Tyler deserved someone special. During the weeks following the engagement announcement, I literally couldn't sleep properly. But it wasn't from heartbreak, it was from pure strategic planning. First, I meticulously organized all the financial records of loans to Tyler from the past 4 years, creating a detailed spreadsheet with dates, amounts, and the elaborate justifications he had given. Second, I began discreetly investigating how Emma had fallen in love so rapidly with my brother, and discovered through a private investigator that they had been secretly meeting for at least 6 months before my discovery. Third, I realized Emma had been using inside information about my boring life to help Tyler plan the most effective financial manipulations. She knew exactly when I received my rental payments, when I had extra cash available, when I was feeling generous or emotionally vulnerable. And fourth, I decided the perfect revenge would be executed publicly at their own wedding. They wanted a fairy tale wedding? I would give them exactly that, with a plot twist that no one in our family's history would ever forget. For 6 complete months after the engagement, I maintained the most convincing performance of my entire life. I effusively congratulated the happy couple at all family gatherings, enthusiastically offered all necessary help organizing their dream wedding, and even suggested and insisted on paying for the most expensive and exclusive venue in Austin, the Four Seasons Hotel, as my generous brother's gift to them. I deliberately spent $17,300 of my own money meticulously organizing the very party where I would completely destroy both of them publicly. Tyler accepted every cent with false gratitude, still seeing me as the eternal useful idiot who would pay for everything without questioning. Emma continued acting sweet and grateful, thinking she was completely untouchable and that I would never discover the total extent of their betrayal. During those 6 crucial months, I obsessively documented every secret meeting through my private investigator, every elaborate lie they told our family, every cent of my money they spent on romantic hotels, expensive restaurants, and weekend getaways. I had high-resolution photos, videos with date and time stamps, crystal-clear audio recordings, detailed bank statements, precise geolocation data, everything organized in a comprehensive dossier that would prove beyond any reasonable doubt the total extent of the betrayal and financial manipulation. I even discovered that Emma had been training Tyler on exactly what to say to convince me to transfer larger amounts, teaching him my emotional triggers and psychological vulnerabilities. September 15, 2024, Saturday, our family's wedding of the century. Exactly 187 carefully selected guests, including our entire extended family from 3 states, work colleagues, college friends, and even local social media influencers that Tyler had specifically invited to document this special day. The venue was absolutely spectacular, with $3,500 floral arrangements, a 5-course gourmet dinner, and a premium open bar stocked with top-shelf drinks. The decoration was perfect, with crystal chandeliers, imported Italian linens, and professional photography equipment throughout. When the traditional wedding toast moment arrived, I calmly approached the microphone and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to make a very special toast to this beautiful couple, and share some absolutely fascinating numbers and concrete evidence that show exactly how we got to this magical moment today." Instantly, using the professional projector system I had generously provided, I began displaying on the main screen all the detailed bank transfers to Tyler with exact dates and dollar amounts, dozens of high-resolution photos and videos with date and time stamps of the two of them together secretly for months, all the crystal-clear audio recordings of intimate conversations I had captured, and finally, my complete fidelity brokerage statement showing my real net worth of $451,247. The silence was absolutely deafening. Every person in the Four Seasons ballroom was completely frozen, unable to process what they were witnessing. The reaction was instantaneous and absolutely devastating. Tyler desperately tried to grab the microphone and start damage control, but literally couldn't formulate a single coherent sentence. His face turned completely red, his hands were visibly shaking, and sweat began dripping down his forehead despite the air conditioning. Emma started crying uncontrollably, but they definitely weren't tears of joy, they were tears of absolute humiliation, panic, and the sudden realization that her carefully constructed facade had instantly crumbled. Our mother was completely frozen in shock, discovering that the son she always considered the unsuccessful failure was actually financially successful and completely independent, while her golden boy, Tyler, was nothing more than a manipulative parasite. Half of the 187 guests immediately began grabbing their phones to film and live-stream the drama to their social networks, while the other half began discreetly heading for the door, completely embarrassed by the public spectacle they had witnessed. In exactly 48 hours, Tyler lost literally every client and business contact he had, because the story went completely viral on social media in Austin, Dallas, and Houston. Emma lost over 70% of her marketing agency clients, because absolutely nobody wanted to work with someone publicly exposed as manipulative, untrustworthy, and capable of such elaborate deception. I simply concluded my toast by saying, "Now you two can finally live off the pure and genuine love you truly feel for each other," calmly handed the microphone back, and confidently walked out of the Four Seasons Hotel without looking back once, leaving behind 187 stunned witnesses and a completely destroyed couple. Today, exactly 12 months after that Saturday night that changed everything, the entire family dynamic has changed so drastically it's almost completely unrecognizable. Tyler has desperately tried to approach me countless times, always with increasingly pathetic excuses about his temporarily bad judgment and moment of weakness that supposedly doesn't represent who he really is deep down. He even offered to work for me as an employee, begging for a chance to fix things and slowly regain my trust. Our mother, who for literal decades treated me as the permanently unsuccessful and socially inadequate son, now constantly tries to arrange elaborate dinners for me with daughters of her rich country club friends, suddenly seeing me as the successful son she apparently never realized existed. She even publicly apologized to me during last Thanksgiving dinner, admitting she had completely misjudged me. Emma sent me over 73 individual text messages throughout these 12 months, pathetically begging for forgiveness and repeatedly claiming she always genuinely loved me and that Tyler emotionally manipulated her during a vulnerable moment in her life. She even offered to testify against Tyler in court if I wanted to sue to recover my money. The most important lesson I learned through this entire devastating but ultimately liberating experience is that sometimes people can only truly understand the real value of what they lost when they face the real and irreversible consequences of their deliberate choices and cruel actions. Today, exactly 18 months later, I have an absolutely incredible girlfriend named Sophia who met me completely after this whole story happened, someone who genuinely appreciates my authenticity, my financial intelligence, my emotional integrity, and my ability to handle adversity with grace and strength. My net worth has grown substantially to $526,891, my real estate portfolio has expanded to 12 profitable properties, and more important than anything else, I sleep peacefully every night knowing I will never again in my life be underestimated, financially manipulated, or emotionally taken advantage of by absolutely anyone, family included. The revenge wasn't just about public exposure or social humiliation, it was fundamentally about demonstrating that people who consistently act with genuine character, authentic integrity, silent strength, and unwavering principles always emerge victorious in the end, while manipulators, traitors, and emotional parasites inevitably face the natural consequences of their toxic choices and destructive behaviors. If you genuinely enjoyed this epic story of justice being served cold and want to see more incredible tales of karma working perfectly, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel right now, hit the notification bell, and comment below what was the most painful betrayal you've ever experienced in your own life. Trust me when I say this. You are absolutely not alone in having experienced betrayal, but you always have the power to rise above it. See you in the next incredible story.